And that is so, so important when it comes to nature and to the environment in particular. Look, this beautiful field of flowers, I think this is in Africa somewhere. South Africa, I think this is. What a beautiful array of flowers. But if you just call them flowers, you're missing something. We need to give them names. We need to know what they are. We need to know which of them are endangered, which ones we need to look after. How do they grow? And if we know that, we can look after them and we can care about them. And if we know about our natural world and we can name things, then we will care about those things. It's vital. We must give names and we must care and we must look at detail. And even more when it comes to people. You could say, it's just people. That's just a bunch of people. I don't care about them at all. And if it's a group of people that you don't know, they're in another country, they're maybe you think they're against you, a different culture, that's when you start to say it's them, it's just them, just they. I don't care about them. They are others. But that's not true. They're not others. They are individual people just like you. Each of those people in that huge crowd, they all have their name, their special name. They all have their piece of the truth. You need to care about them, but the only way you can care about them is by starting to know their names. Not maybe every individual, but you know something about them. You know the names of their cultures, or you know some of the characteristics that define them, and be interested about them. And then you start to care about them. And you also start to see first, yes, they may be very different from you, but also how much they may be the same as you. So important names, naming, caring. And I'm going to come on to some intercultural aspect in a moment, but that I do think is a fundamental point of our world, that we don't give things names, and therefore we don't see them anymore. And I came across this quotation in a book just a couple of days ago that I'm reading, and I thought this was amazing. Nothing exists until it has a name. Now, when she wrote that, I think she probably meant that a medical condition doesn't seem to exist until somebody gives it a name. But I think that phrase is fantastic, because I think it means nothing, literally, exists for me until it has a name. And I don't care about it if it hasn't got a name. So that's why I find names so vital, so important. Another book I was reading had this quote, and this was a book about Albania, and about a man who was in charge of a big factory, and he was told that he should fire all the people because it wasn't making enough money. And it says, he tried to recall the names of all the people who worked there, even though there were hundreds of them. If I forget their names, I will forget about their lives, he said. They will no longer be people. They'll become numbers. Their aspirations, their fears will no longer matter. We will only remember the rules, not to those to whom they apply. Only think about orders, not about the purpose that they serve. Another example of the importance of names. Any other comments? I think a hand went up somewhere. Praise, did we have a question or a comment?
Yes, let me ask. There's Ephraim Tukumenayo. Let me ask him to unmute so that he says what he wants to say. Okay, so Mr. Andrew, whilst Ephraim is trying to unmute, there is another question here, and I'll read it out. So it's saying that, what is the relationship between truth and power, Some argue that truth is used as a tool of power and that those in power have the ability to shape what is considered true, while others argue that truth can be a check on power and that exposing the truth can help to hold those in power accountable. Should I repeat the question?
Yeah, I've got it. I can see it now in front of me. I think it's an excellent question. I think it's a very, very intelligent question. And all I can do, I can't answer that question except to say that I agree with the problem that it's expressing, because that's exactly what we're seeing nowadays. So I can't speak about your countries. In my country and in America, these are really big questions, because it is quite true that we see truth sometimes being obviously abused. But somebody used the word gullible, and it's very easy for people to be gullible and they just accept what they're being told. So yes, power wants to have a monopoly on the truth, and I agree. As I said about history, those who are powerful write, the ones who are the winners are the ones who write the history and who draw the maps. And that's so the truth that we learn in our schools is what they tell us that we should learn, or what they used to tell us anyway, what we should learn. I think we're a bit more inquiring nowadays. But this is an absolutely excellent question. Thank you very much for that one. That's from Joshua. Thank you, Joshua.